Most people believe one thing with absolute confidence: I am not the type who gets scammed. I read contracts carefully, I compare prices, I do not casually swipe my card for things that sound sketchy. At least that is what I always thought. But here is a slightly uncomfortable truth. The biggest scams of your life do not look like scams at all. They do not come from weird emails or late night phone calls. They come with brightly lit stores, friendly staff, polished websites, and perfectly legitimate receipts. You are not fooled because you are ignorant. You are fooled because these things are labeled normal. Everyone uses them. Everyone pays for them. And if you ever hesitated, chances are. Story 1: Bottled water. Once upon a time, humans invented the water tap so we could drink for free. Then one fine day, we collectively decided that water in a bottle just looked smarter. Same water, but once it is inside plastic, it suddenly becomes cleaner, purer, and of course, way more expensive. No one wakes up thinking today, I will pay 1,000 times more than water is actually worth. But then advertising shows up, tap water gets framed as suspicious, bottled water gets photographed next to snowy mountains, natural springs in places you definitely do not live near. So you walk into a store after passing the free water tap in your own home to buy a bottle of water that was shipped hundreds of miles, sealed in plastic, and carried back to your house, which also has a water tap. You did not buy water. You bought peace of mind, a pretty story, and a plastic bottle that will be in the trash a few minutes later. Story 2: Gym memberships. Signing up for a gym always feels incredibly optimistic. It is the moment you are fully convinced you are about to become a better version of yourself. The version that wakes up early, eats clean, knows how every machine works, and looks like someone who actually belongs there. The sign-up process is suspiciously fast. Friendly staff, a few signatures, a smooth card swipe. Everything feels effortless, like the gym cannot wait to have you. But the moment you want to cancel, the vibe changes. Suddenly you have to call at the right time, talk to the right person, and sometimes even show up in person like you are trying to resign from a secret club. The funny part is that gyms do not survive on people who work out consistently. They make great money from people with good intentions. The ones who pay every month on time rarely step inside. Story 3: Free trials. A free trial is one of the politest lies in the world. It starts with the word free, then immediately and very gently asks to borrow your card just to confirm your identity. Sounds reasonable, you think you will remember to cancel. You always think that. Life does not agree. Work gets busy, messages pile up, emails stack endlessly, so day 7 passes quietly, then day 8 arrives, and your bank account sends a very polite notification letting you know that you have officially become a paying member. No one calls you, no one reminds you. Everything happens so smoothly that you only notice when a small charge starts showing up every month. An amount not big enough to get angry about, but small enough to be ignored for a very long time, and just like that, the free trial completes its mission. No convincing, no pressure, just patiently waiting for you to get busy living your own life. Story 4: Extended warranties. The most dangerous moment to make a financial decision is not when you are sad, but when you have just bought something brand new. You are happy. You are proud. And right then, the salesperson smiles and asks a very gentle question. What if it breaks? Instantly, your imagination runs faster than cafe internet. The screen goes black. A strange noise appears, a repair bill that makes you sweat. So you nod and buy the extended warranty to protect an item that already comes with the warranty. An extended warranty does not sell repairs, it sells anxiety about the future right in the present moment. And when something actually goes wrong, you discover there are plenty of small terms explaining why your situation is not covered. But at least at that moment, you bought peace of mind. And sometimes that feeling is the most expensive item on the entire receipt. Story 5: Bank overdraft fees. An overdraft fee is how banks turn a very small mistake into a fairly painful financial lesson. You are only a few dollars short in your account. Maybe you forgot to check your balance. Maybe a payment hit earlier than expected. Everything still sounds fine until the fee appears. What most people do not notice is that transaction order is not always handled the way you would expect. Larger charges are often processed first, making it easier for smaller ones afterward to push your account into the negative. And in that exact moment, the fee is applied quickly and precisely. No one calls to ask if you want to continue the transaction. There is no gentle reminder, just a polite notification saying the bank has helped you along with a fee that is bigger than the original purchase itself. Overdraft fees do not make money from big decisions. They make money from moments when you are busy, distracted, and assume that being a few dollars short is probably no big deal. Story 6. Printer ink. A printer is one of the rare items in life where the low upfront price makes you feel very smart. It is cheap, compact, and looks harmless. You take it home feeling like you just scored a great deal. Until the day you urgently need to print something important. The printer turns on, makes a few hopeful noises, then announces that the ink is empty. Not almost empty, completely empty, and of course the replacement ink costs almost as much as a brand new printer. Suddenly you realize you did not buy a printer, you bought a ticket into a proprietary ink ecosystem. You cannot use other ink, you cannot use cheaper ink, you cannot even use a cartridge that still has a little ink left because the printer has decided its job is done. Printer ink does not make money from printing, it makes money from moments when you are in a rush, have no time to think, and are willing to pay any price just to get one piece of paper printed right then. Story 7. College textbooks. College textbooks are one of the rare things that manage to stick in your memory even though you only use them for a single semester. You buy them at a very serious, very adult, and very wallet-hurting price. Then you open them, read a few chapters, highlight a few pages, and by the end of the term, the book officially enters its shelf decoration era. The next year, when you think you can sell it to make some money back, you discover some great news. The publisher has just released a new edition. The content is almost identical. Just different page numbers, a few renamed examples, and a fresher-looking cover to prove that your book is now outdated. The used book market dies instantly. The book you paid hundreds of dollars for is now worth about the same as a cold cup of coffee. The funny part is that knowledge does not change that fast, but textbooks do. Not to help you learn better, but to make sure you never buy a used one again. Story 8. Subscription boxes. A subscription box is how adults send themselves a present every month and then pretend to be surprised when it arrives. It feels great, a mystery box. You do not know what is inside. Maybe it is something you need. Maybe it is something you never thought of. And very often it is something you do not want at all. Fear of missing out does the rest. You think if you cancel, maybe next month, they will finally send the thing you actually like. So you keep paying, opening another box, receiving a few items that look fine on Instagram, but you have no idea where to put in your house. The real value of the box is usually lower than the fee you pay, but the unboxing feeling is powerful. It makes you forget that with 5 minutes of shopping, you could choose exactly what you need for less money. A subscription box does not sell products. It sells a brief monthly moment of excitement and the hope that next time will be different. That hope is enough to keep you waiting for one more box. Story 9. Timeshare. A timeshare always starts with two very dangerous words. Free vacation. You are invited to a sunny place, decent rooms, and all you have to do is listen to a short presentation. Short by their definition means long enough for you to forget you are supposed to be on vacation. The presentation comes with coffee-friendly smiles and very personal questions like, does your family enjoy traveling? Every time you say no, they nod with deep understanding, then offer another option that is cheaper, rarer, and only available today. The pressure slowly increases. The clock starts counting down. Everything is designed to get you to say yes before you have time to think. And the moment you sign, the free vacation officially ends. After that comes a thick contract, annual maintenance fees, and an exit that almost does not exist. A timeshare does not sell vacations. It sells a rushed decision, then keeps you long after the sunshine is gone. Story 10. Payday loans. A payday loan usually shows up right when you are staring at your bank account and sighing. An unexpected bill, a long week ahead, and your money deciding to leave early. The ads sound very gentle. Fast cash, simple process, just a temporary solution. You borrow a small amount, just enough to get through the moment. Sounds reasonable. But when payment day arrives, that amount suddenly grows much faster than you expected. The interest rate is so high it makes you wonder whether the number was calculated or simply imagined. So you do a very human thing. You borrow again to pay off the old loan, then you borrow again to handle the new one. Everything happens quickly, smoothly, without much thinking, because if you thought too hard, you probably would not borrow again. Payday loans do not sell money. They sell a brief sense of relief, then charge you for that feeling weeks, sometimes months later. A smooth, polite loop that is extremely hard to escape. Story 11. Funeral services. A funeral service is one of the rare moments when you walk into a room and almost no one feels comfortable asking about prices. People are grieving, the atmosphere is solemn, and you do not want to be the person who asks, is this really necessary? So the options appear: a better casket, a more complete service package, nicer flowers. Each option is presented very gently, very respectfully, and always with the feeling that if you decline, maybe you are not being thoughtful enough. No one directly says that you have to spend more money, but you can feel the moral pressure hanging quietly in the air. You do not want to save money in the wrong place. You do not want to later think that you did not do enough. So you pay, not exactly because the service is better, but because of the peace of mind that you did the right thing. Funeral services do not just. Story 12. Wedding industry. There is an unwritten rule in the universe. Everything stays reasonably priced until you say the word wedding. The exact moment you say it, the number on the quote magically grows. Same venue, same flowers, same cake. But because it is a wedding, the price gets upgraded to the formal version. The funny part is that the service is almost identical. The photographer is the same person. The food is the same food. The only difference is that everything now has fancier names, just enough to make you feel like you are buying an irreplaceable experience. Social pressure does the rest. You do not want your big day to look lacking. You do not want anyone whispering that you should have spent a little more. So the budget quietly expands very naturally, very reasonably. The wedding industry does not sell different services. It sells the feeling that this day has to be perfect, and perfect almost never comes cheap. Story 13. MLM. An MLM usually starts with a very familiar message from a friend you have not heard from in a long time. They are not selling anything. They just want to share an opportunity. A flexible work from home chance to get rich, and it sounds like anyone can succeed if they work hard enough. The product is said to be amazing, but that is not the main focus. The focus is on recruiting more people. You invite a few people, those people invite a few more. Very quickly, your customer list starts to look more like a family contact list than an actual market. The meetings are always full of positive energy. Someone shows off their income, someone else says success is just one step away. And if you are not making money yet, the problem is not the system, it is that you are not trying hard enough. The funny part is that math is not impressed by motivation. It quietly shows that not everyone can be at the top. It sells hope, then lets the numbers do the talking. Story 14. Organic food premiums. Grocery shopping with the organic label always comes with a special feeling. You hold two apples that look almost identical. One regular, one organic. The organic one costs more, so it automatically feels healthier. You buy it not just to eat, but to feel like you are making the right choice. Fear of chemicals does the rest. Regular produce suddenly feels suspicious even though it has fed people for generations. Organic comes with stories of purity, nature, and a better lifestyle. What is rarely mentioned is that a higher price does not always mean a clear nutritional difference. Many times what you are paying extra for is the label and peace of mind, not superior value. But because that feeling is very comforting, the purchase decision still feels completely reasonable. Organic food does not just sell food, it sells the feeling that you are taking better care of yourself. And that feeling, as usual, does not come cheap. Story 15. Premium gas. Filling up your tank is a very quick decision until you see two options: regular gas, premium gas, and in that exact moment, your brain starts imagining that your car has feelings. Does it enjoy drinking the better stuff? Will it run smoother? Will it judge you as a more caring owner? Advertising does the rest. Premium sounds stronger, cleaner, better for the engine. Even though the owner manual clearly says your car is perfectly fine with regular gas, you still stand there for a few extra seconds, thinking like you are making a long-term investment decision. In the end, you choose premium gas, not because the car needs it, but because you need the peace of mind. The feeling that you did the best thing for your car even though the car has absolutely no idea. Premium gas does not sell energy, it sells reassurance, and marketing makes sure that reassurance always costs a few extra cents per gallon. Story 16. Brand name medications. Standing at the pharmacy counter is a surprisingly stressful moment. On one side is the medication with a familiar name, the one you have seen on TV with soft background music and very healthy-looking people. On the other side is the generic version with a long, hard-to-pronounce name that looks more like a technical code than something you want to put into your body. The pharmacist clearly explains that both contain the same active ingredients. Your brain still hesitates. Brand name drugs feel safer because they are familiar. You have heard the name long enough to believe it is more trustworthy. Generic drugs rely purely on scientific facts, and science does not run commercials. In terms of effectiveness, they are the same, but emotionally, they feel completely different. And when health is involved, emotions often beat logic. They sell the belief that familiar means safer, and that belief usually comes with a much higher price tag. Story 17. Cable TV bundles. Signing up for cable TV always feels like you are getting a great deal. Hundreds of channels, sports movies, news cooking, and a few channels you have never heard of. You only want to watch about 5 channels, but that is fine because those 5 are included with the other 95. You cannot choose them individually. You have to buy the whole bundle, like going to buy 1 loaf of bread and being forced to take 3 more just because they come as a combo. And the funny part is, you rarely remember which channels you are paying for as long as the TV still turns on at night. Then streaming shows up. You pick exactly what you want to watch. You pay for exactly the content you want. No long-term contracts, no ads cutting in. That is when you realize cable TV does not sell shows. It sells habit. A habit of paying for a lot of things you do not use just because everyone has always done it that way. Story 18. Resort fees. You book a hotel room and feel very satisfied with the price. Cheaper than expected, right within budget. You might even compliment yourself for being good at booking. Then at checkout, a small line appears very gently. Resort fee. It sounds luxurious, like you're about to enjoy something special. But when you look closer, you realize you are paying for very basic things. Wi-Fi, pool towels, a gym you do not plan to use, and sometimes the privilege of using the elevator. The interesting part is that the resort fee is not optional. You cannot decline it. You also cannot avoid paying it unless you do not stay. It gets added after you have already decided to book at the point where your vacation mindset is fully locked in. Resort fees do not sell new services. They sell the feeling that the original room price looked cheaper. And once you are already there, paying a few extra dollars per night suddenly feels suspiciously reasonable. Story 19. Car dealership financing. When buying a car is almost finished, you usually feel relieved. The price is set. The car is chosen. In your head, you are already driving it home. Then you are invited into a small room to finalize the financial paperwork with someone very politely introduced as an advisor. This person speaks calmly, explains everything smoothly, and keeps emphasizing that they are helping you choose the best option. The interest rate is presented as a monthly payment that sounds manageable. The big total number disappears, leaving only the feeling that you can afford it. What is rarely mentioned is that every extra percentage point of interest is tied to commission. Not symbolic commission, but real money. And when you are tired, excited, and just want the process to be over, it becomes very easy to say yes for the sake of convenience. Car dealership financing does not sell the cheapest loan. It sells convenience at the exact moment you no longer want to compare any other options. Story 20. Rent-to-own furniture. Rent-to-own sounds very kind. You do not need much money, no perfect credit score required, just a small weekly payment and that sofa is almost yours. Almost is the most important word here. Each payment feels small and gentle so it does not hurt. But when you add everything up, that ordinary sofa suddenly costs as much as a high-end one. And through the entire process, you still do not truly own it. Miss just one payment and everything resets. The furniture gets taken back. The money you paid stays gone. The sofa can be rented out again as if it was never yours. The irony is that rent-to-own targets the people who need furniture the most. The ones with the fewest options end up paying the most for basic items. Rent-to-own does not sell furniture. It sells short-term accessibility, then quietly collects long-term money from the people least able to protect themselves. Story 21. Home security monitoring. Home security services often open with a very simple question. Are you sure your home is safe? The moment you hear it, your imagination kicks in. A strange noise at night, a shadow near the door, and the feeling that maybe you should do something to feel more secure. The monitoring package is presented very professionally. cameras, sensors, phone apps, and a monthly fee so someone can keep an eye on things for you. The interesting part is that you rarely ever see that person. You do not know what they are watching, but you still pay regularly for this invisible presence. Meanwhile, technology keeps getting cheaper and easier to use. Smart cameras, doorbells, and real-time phone alerts can all be bought once with no monthly fees or long contracts. Home security monitoring does not sell superior protection. It sells the feeling that someone is watching over your home, even though most of the time your phone is the one actually doing the work. Story 22. Tax preparation services. Doing taxes is the moment when many Americans suddenly feel less confident than usual. Long forms, confusing terminology, and the constant feeling that filling in one small thing wrong will bring trouble right after. That is why tax preparation services step in at the perfect time. They say they will handle everything. You just pay, sign your name, and relax knowing it is taken care of. It sounds very reasonable, especially when you are not sure you truly understand what you are doing. What many people do not realize is that for a lot of people, filing taxes is actually fairly simple. But the system is kept complicated enough that you always feel like you should not do it yourself. And tax companies have helped maintain that complexity to make sure they stay necessary. Tax preparation services do not just sell tax filing, they sell peace of mind in a system designed to keep you afraid of getting it wrong. Story 23. Pet insurance. Pet insurance is often purchased more with emotion than with calculation. You look at your pet and think that if something happens, you want to be prepared. And insurance appears at the right moment, promising peace of mind for a situation you hope you never face. Everything sounds fine until you actually need to use it. That is when the fine print starts to show. Pre-existing conditions are not covered, certain treatments are excluded, and reimbursement usually comes later, not when you need it most. Most of the time, your pet stays healthy and you keep paying the monthly fee. When a big bill finally appears, the coverage is often much lower than you imagined. Pet insurance is not completely useless, but for many people, it sells the feeling that you are doing the right thing more than it delivers real financial benefit. Story 24. Identity theft protection. Identity theft protection sounds like a digital suit of armor. You pay a monthly fee so someone can watch over your identity for you. It sounds very reassuring, especially when the news constantly talks about data breaches and hackers everywhere. The problem is that most of what they monitor is already public information. Your name, your social security number leaked from some past breach, your email floating around online. They do not stop the thief, they simply notify you that the thief may have stopped by. In other words, you are paying to be told that you might be in trouble. And often you find out at the same time as your bank or credit card company, which already has free alert systems in place. Identity theft protection does not sell absolute protection. It sells the feeling that someone is watching on your behalf. A comforting feeling, even though most of the real work is still done by you and your bank. Story 25. Lottery. The lottery is one of the cheapest forms of entertainment for buying hope. For just a few dollars, you get to imagine a completely different life. A new house, a new car, quitting your job with a very polite email. And it all starts with one tiny ticket. People often call the lottery a voluntary tax, but that sounds a bit dry. In reality, you do not buy a lottery ticket because you truly think you will win. You buy it for the feeling that maybe today is your day. Math stands quietly in the corner, arms crossed, gently shaking its head. The odds of winning are so low that if you actually calculated them, you probably would not buy a ticket at all. But the lottery does not sell probability, it sells a story. The story that, with one lucky moment, all your problems disappear. And so every week, millions of people happily contribute a few dollars to a shared dream. No one is forced, no one is directly scammed. The lottery only asks that you briefly forget math in exchange for a few very pleasant minutes of hope. Story 26. College application fees. A college application fee is one of the rare payments you make with a very high chance of getting nothing back except a polite email. You spend time filling out forms, writing essays, polishing every sentence, and right before submitting, you have to pay a fee just to be considered. Schools say it is a processing fee. That sounds reasonable, but they also encourage as many people as possible to apply, even applicants with almost no chance. Applications go up, acceptance rates go down, and the school ranking looks more impressive. For students with money, it is a few small fees. For students without much money, each application is a careful decision. Applying to one more school means giving up another option. College application fees do not sell guaranteed acceptance. They sell the right to hope in a system that collects money from many people while the final result is reserved for only a few. Story 27. Ticket fees. Buying tickets for a concert or a sports game always starts out fun. You see a nice number on the screen, reasonable price, within budget. You think, great, tonight I am going. Then you click again, and again, and again. Suddenly, the ticket price starts to grow. Processing fees, convenience fees, service fees, venue fees. No one clearly explains what these fees are for, but they appear very confidently as if they have always been there. The original price was more of a mental suggestion. You do not really have another option. You picked the event, you picked the seat, and now if you do not pay the fees, the only alternative is not going at all. And at this point, you are too far in to turn back. Ticket fees do not sell tickets. They sell a low entry price to pull you in, then slowly stack on layers of fees once you are already ready to pay. By the time checkout is done, you only have enough energy left to tell. Story 28. Phone insurance. Phone insurance is usually offered right when you have just bought a brand new phone. The salesperson asks very gently, "Do you want to protect it?" For something you just spent a lot of money on, the answer is usually a yes for peace of mind. The monthly insurance fee sounds small, so you do not think much about it. But when the phone actually has a problem, things start to feel different. There is a deductible, and the deductible is not small, big enough to make you wonder if you are paying almost the price of a new phone anyway. Then comes the next surprise, the replacement phone. It is not always new, it is not always the same model you are using. Most of the time, it is refurbished with a history you are never told about. Phone insurance does not sell perfect protection. It sells monthly reassurance in exchange for a complicated process at the exact moment you need things to be simple. Story 29. Supplements. Supplements are where belief often comes before evidence. You walk into a store and see rows of colorful bottles, each one promising something very specific. More energy, better sleep, sharper focus. And the miracle is that all of it is supposedly packed into one small pill. The labels are written very carefully. They do not say cure, they say support. They do not promise results. They suggest possibilities. The marketing is vague enough that you feel like you are doing something proactive for your health, even though there is no guarantee the pill is actually necessary. The interesting part is that if you eat well and are generally healthy, most of these pills do not make a noticeable difference. But because they are sold in very serious-looking places, it is easy to believe they must be useful. Supplements do not sell miracles. They sell the hope of quick improvement without much change. Story 30. Meditation apps. A meditation app is a very modern concept. You open your phone to learn how to turn your thoughts off. The app looks beautiful, the voice is soothing, and the promise is extremely appealing. Just a few minutes a day and you will feel less stressed, more focused, and slower in life. The funny part is that meditation has existed for thousands of years and is completely free. You just need to sit down and breathe. But the app makes that look too simple, so it adds guided sessions levels and paid plans to make relaxation feel more valuable. The content inside is usually very similar: a calm voice, soft background music, things you can find for free almost anywhere. But once you get used to opening the app every day, you start to feel less relaxed without it. Meditation apps do not sell peace. They sell a habit of relying on technology to learn how to step away from technology, and that contradiction often comes with a Story 31. Financial advisors. A financial advisor often appears when you start thinking seriously about the future, retirement, investing, making your money work for you. They speak calmly, use familiar-sounding terms, and make everything sound just complex enough for you to believe you should not handle it on your own. Their fees are mentioned very lightly, just a small percentage each year. It does not sound like much, but that small percentage is calculated on your entire balance, repeated year after year. And over time, math quietly starts leaning against you. Meanwhile, passive investing exists very quietly: fewer promises, lower fees, and in many cases, the final results are not worse at all. Financial advisors do not sell superior returns. They sell the peace of mind that someone is steering the ship. Ironically, that very feeling, through small but consistent fees, creates a kind of reverse compound interest, slowly eroding your financial future. If you have listened this far and found yourself nodding, sometimes smiling a little, or occasionally thinking, wow, this feels way too familiar, then congratulations, you are completely normal. None of us are being forced. We are simply used to things being labeled normal, so we rarely stop to ask why. The goal of this video is not to make you hate businesses, and it is not to tell you to stop spending money. It is just that next time before you swipe your card, you pause for 1 second and ask yourself, am I paying for real value or for peace of mind? If you have ever found yourself in one of these stories, leave a comment and share your experience. You might help someone save a few dollars or at least earn a few regretful nods. And if you enjoy this kind of content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We are not here to lecture anyone, we are just trying to be a little more aware together.